Hey, Pittsburgh fans and all NFL Nation. This is Stiller Nation Midwest. Big J coming at you with the pregame for the Philadelphia Eagles Pittsburgh Steelers game on Sunday. This Sunday at 3:25 Central Time, 4:25 Eastern. That's going to be a big one, man. Um, two good teams. Two teams like to run the ball. Two teams that are very physical, like to bully. Uh, it's like two bullies meeting in the alleyway, man. Except they're going to meet down there, and we're going to go down in their neighborhood and see what we can do down there. Okay, they call it a state championship. There's talk about, I don't think it'll ever happen. There's talking about the NFL should uh, find a venue in the midway part of the state and play that game when the NFL schedules it there. But I don't really. The only big stadium I can think of is where they play. They play the state championship. I think that's still small, but I think they'd have to play somewhere like Penn State. I don't know how that would work for NFL clubs, but basically Sunday, it's a big battle, man. It's a big battle. We're gonna get off. We're gonna start with the offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So basically, uh, you have Russell Russell Wilson, who played a really good game. When you look at film and you watch him against the Cleveland Browns the other day. Started out slow, but he didn't have his guy. He didn't have his guy with him, so it was tough for him. And basically, it was one of those situations where, uh, he had to get through it and then find a way. He ended up doing it. And 9 receivers touched the ball. And the week before that, before Pickens got hurt, um, basically it was 10 receivers. So Pickens will not be playing tomorrow. He's on the injured list. He's out again. So we'll have to depend on the rest of our group. They're going to have to play well. And they're going to have to catch the ball, man. Our tight ends, I think, will be a key to this game. And then our running game, we got to get it going. Even if we only go, even if we only get like in the 80s and 90s, that's enough to control the clock. We just got to get them off the field. We can't let them control the clock because they're number one in the rush in the league in rushing. Uh, and we're number four. So it's a big battle. And then against the run, um, we're both really good. So it's going to be tough sledding. Philadelphia has a great defense, though. They do. They really have a good defense. So our offense with Muth, um, Pat Fryermuth, he's going to have to play well. Van Jefferson, he'll probably play a lot because of Pickens' injury. Mike Williams, he'll probably start. Calvin, what's his name? Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin's been a deep day. He's 16.8 yards per carry. I mean per catch. So that's something that we need to get going. And our running game, Jalen Warren, everybody, we're gonna have to. It's gonna be one of those group efforts, man. And our O line, that's the key. So that's another key because they got a big time defensive tackle on that other side in the second year out of Georgia. He was the ninth pick overall when he came out in 2023. Jalen Carter, really good, man. I was watching some film on him, and he's so athletic, and he disrupts a lot of stuff going on in people's offensive line. He causes you to do things that you don't want to do, and we have a rookie going against him, so he'll probably try to take advantage of Mason McCormick. So our offensive line got to work together. But with Cordell Patterson too, I think will play a good part. Jalen Warren, he's averaging 4.13 yards a carry. So, and then we got Pruitt, Darnell Washington, Haywood at the H-back tight end spot. They're all going to have to pitch in. I'm pretty sure we got a good OC, man. I'm pretty sure that Arthur Smith has game planned something up. Okay, as far as a high scoring game, I don't see it. A lot of people think it'll happen. I don't see it. Not the way Jalen Hurt has been throwing the ball, and he's not getting his receivers involved. But they're dependent on Saquon Barkley, and that's an issue. So defensively, uh, we're gonna have to deal with him. But our receivers, then Ben Skowronek, that guy, that's a guy we're gonna have to get in the game and do some things to offset what Philadelphia is trying to do because their defensive backfield is really good, and we'll get into that. But as far as the offensive line, I'm pretty sure Dan Moore will be fine, and Salamu and Frazier, even Broderick, if he doesn't have any lapses. Mason McCormick worries me because I think that Jalen Carter is going to. The DC is going to try to take advantage of him because of his youth as a rookie. And then if you watch him on tape, he needs to fix some stuff. And I think that Jalen Carter is going to definitely try to take care of that. And I don't think we should double him. We're just going to have to do something else. We might have to do some things with him, but we're going to have to see what Mason can do with him, man. But that's a big time matchup for Mason McCormick this weekend, going against Jalen Carter. He's one of the best, if not considered one of the top, I say five young defensive linemen in the league. He's moving up the ladder, man, quick out of Georgia. So he played with Pickens. He played with Broderick Jones. There's a lot of those Georgia guys in the NFL right now, young guys. A lot of young guys from those teams down there in Georgia that Kirby Smart put together. So, and they're in the league and they're doing well. They're all playing. Most of them are starting for their team, and they're like in their second, maybe third at the most, third year at the most. So that's something that we need to worry about, man. We need to pay attention to that. I'm pretty sure the O-line coach and the OC have done something to help McCormick out. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. But our offensive line has to play well, man. They have to. They're going to have to deal with that defensive front because that defensive front is not only Jason Carter, but there's other guys on that defensive front that are pretty good. So we're going to have to deal with them defensively. Our front is, I think our front is better with TJ Highsmith, and then Okunjobi's not playing; he's out this week. But finally, they kept saying that he would be back. He'd be back. But Montavious Adams seems to be back. Hopefully, he can get going and knock some of the rust off. It's been a minute since he's played, so he's back. He'll get a helmet. And so we're losing Ogunjobi, but we're gaining Martavius Adams in the front. We still have Haywood. The man is having a great year, man. He's 35, 36 years old, and he's playing tremendous. He's not playing like a 36-year-old player, man. This guy is still strong. That stiff arm that he puts out there, that punch that he gives those offensive linemen, and he's just powerful. And he's not losing that. It's like a puncher. If he's a big-time puncher, it takes a long time for him to lose that effect of that punch because if he catch you with one, it's over. And that's kind of like with Haywood, except he's in a football game and he's constantly using his experience and his physical strength to deal with these young guys. So, and then we have the young guy from Wisconsin in the middle. He got an interception last week, number 95. He's a pretty good player. And I think he's one of our best young defensive linemen. So he'll be fine. And then we got Loudermilk, and I'm not sure who's back. I'm not sure if we do have Patterson, not Patterson, but the guy out of Green Bay we traded for. We have him number 91. He came over with Michael Williams from the Jets, but he came from Green Bay, and he's a pretty decent player. So if we need to put his hand down, we can. But it's going to be all hands on deck. Our linebacker crew with Highsmith and T.J. Watt, the way we play our defense, they'll continue to move Watt around so that the offensive lines can't scheme on them. And then going to make it difficult. Our linebacker crew with Queen and Wilson, it seems like he's unseated Landon Roberts for that starting position. He's getting better and better. The rookies are playing better and better as the year goes on. So that's a good thing. Also, our corners, they got their hands full this weekend, man. I hope we don't do a lot of zone. We don't do well in zone. We give up a lot of stuff underneath, and I understand. But this week, we got A.J. Brown. They're complaining about not getting the ball, so I think they'll, I don't know if they'll go away from what they've been doing. I wouldn't. Saquon will continue to get the ball the way how he has been getting it. I mean, the man, you're talking about him setting the rushing record, breaking Eric Dickerson's record this year. He already has over 1,600 yards already this season. So that's why they're not getting the ball like that, because they're running the ball so well. And their rush game is so well. So, but we're going to have to look out for that. Because if we take the run away, what I think we'll do well against the run. Holding Saquon Barkley to 80, 90 yards is actually a win, because we're talking about a running back who's been getting buck 40s, buck 30s, buck 50s. So if you're getting him, you know, under 100, that's not bad. That's not a bad day, you know. And I think they'll get frustrated too. Their offensive line is a little older, but they're experienced. Um, I think they were better when Kelsey played for them at center, but they're getting it done. Like I said, their running game is pretty good. They're strong, man. Pittsburgh only has the second. Pittsburgh's only team that runs the ball any better than them. So those two are 1-2. So we're gonna have a great matchup. We got two top defenses, two big time running games, uh, two well coached teams. I give the nod to Tomlin. But let's talk about this defense of Philadelphia, man. Their defense in Philadelphia is really good. They're really good, man. And as far as their defense goes, I've been bringing up Jalen Carter's name a lot, but and they're pretty good. They're a pretty good team when it comes to defense, and they don't give up much at all, man. Not at all. They struggled a little bit offensively against Carolina, but their defense basically kept Carolina from getting that win. But as far as their defense goes, that front four, the linebackers, they're pretty good. Um, they're really good. Uh, you have Carter, Williams, Stewart, and Smith on the front. They play like a five-man front with two edges, three tackles inside. Um, N'Kobe Dean at linebacker, Zach uh, Zach Zach Bond. He has 79 tackles. Safety Blankenship is playing really well. They got Darius Slay at corner. Uh, Safeties Gardner Johnson, Cooper G coming off the bench. Sometimes he starts. So their defense is pretty good, man. They're doing a lot of damage to teams. They're seventh in sacks, 16th in interceptions, and they're like first two in takeaways from what I'm seeing here, and then tackles. Um, they're 26. So they're doing pretty good. Their special teams is not bad. It's not Boswell, but they're not bad. Injuries, they had a lot of guys that participated, just limited. Looks like they'll be okay. One guy that I did see was out. He doesn't play a lot anyway, unless he's a special teamer. So we'll see. But defensively they're pretty good, man. Offensively, I talked about them with Jalen Hurts and Brown, and also of course Saquon Barkley. But they're pretty good. I think they'll try to run the ball down Pittsburgh's throat. I think they'll go. I don't think they'll try to get away from the running game. I think they're going to test Pittsburgh's defensive front, and I think they're going to try to run the ball on us. Try to move the ball down that way and try to control the clock. And I think Pittsburgh's going to do the same thing. That's why I doubt if it's one of those big explosions offensively, because both teams thrive off of possession, time of possession. So, it's one of those. They both like to run the ball. So it's one of those things. You may have to pass to get some points on the board. Once you get everybody coming up, you gotta have to find a weakness there, But as far as OCs go, I think our OC is pretty good compared to their guy. Our quarterback Russell more experienced than Jalen Hurts, but that defense is really good. So is ours. They're playing at home. It's hard for us to win. They talk about we haven't won there since 1965. We haven't beaten the Eagles in Philadelphia since 1965. But like some people say, what's that have to do with a 2024 Steelers team or a Philly team? But sometimes, the media talks about it all week in those cities and it gets in players' heads. So hopefully it doesn't. We got to realize. So we're sitting people on defense. Deshaun Elliott is not playing. He's out. Uh, Popped up with a groin this week in practice. So, and I think they're looking down the road, man. And, I think if this was a playoff game, some of these guys would play. But I think, they don't want to make it worse. Same thing with Pickens. They didn't want to turn a 2-week injury into a 6-week injury with him constantly playing on it because we need him for the playoffs. Um, so, then we'll get Ogunjobi back, and so we'll be fine as far as that's concerned. Um, they'll probably have KZ playing the free and put Minka in the box a little bit tomorrow. I mean on Sunday. So we'll look for that. And Joey and Dante Jackson, Joey Porter Jr. and Dante Jackson, they have to do their thing, man, because I think they're going to be left out there. So um, they're going to have to do everything within the first five. And it's hard to do that with those three receivers because they run a three-receiver set. It's hard to do that. So, but we got to get it done. We're one of the best defenses. We got to prove it. This is the chance to prove that you're one of the best defensive teams in the NFL, and that all the talk is true. Win or lose, you got to go down there and you got to ball out. Got to ball out. Okay, but we're sitting people. I get it. I'm not making excuses, but I see that our coaching staff, our Pittsburgh Steelers organization is looking down the road to the playoffs. Because if they win tomorrow, they clinch. I mean, if they win on Sunday, they clinch a playoff spot. If they beat Baltimore, even if they lose on Sunday, but beat Baltimore the following week, they win the division. It is what it is. So they can afford to play a little bit. Some people think they're punting already. I don't think they're punting. I think they're gonna come out here pumped and ready to play, and it's gonna be a really good game. I don't think it's gonna be a game where they're like sitting people like it's a playoff game next week. I just think they're looking down the road because some of these injuries they're soft tissue, and we know what soft tissue issues can do with athletes. They'll linger and it gets worse, and then it just makes it tough for them, especially in December and January because of weather. The temperatures drop, so muscles and injuries like that flare up. So we don't want to deal with that. So we'll get Pickens back. We'll probably get Elliott back. Um, Ogunjobi will come back, and we'll be straight. I'm even hearing them talk about our first round tackle, Fahatu, may even be back, and also the wide receiver out of Michigan, Roman Wilson, may be back. So not this week, but within the next few weeks. So there'll be some movement around down there with people going down to the practice squad or being just flat out released and to make room for some people. So I'm looking forward to the game, man. I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday. I'll definitely be watching. They keep saying it's a state championship, but hey, it is what it is. But before I get back to it, I want to let everybody know that I have some people that were looking out for me and allowed me to do some sponsorships for them to help me out, and I really appreciate you. One is People of Color People of Color Beauty. It's a nail polish company out of California, and they're pretty good. And you can basically go to Instagram, People of Color, also, and look that up, and you'll be able to see all the information on that. As far as also, there's a high-end watch company, one of 8 high-end watch companies that have been started by African American, and basically it's called Compass Watches, and he has a line of watches, and you go back and you can go to YouTube and look at some stuff and look up his name, David Carrington, and put that in Instagram, and also just put in compass time timepieces, and that'll all come up on Instagram, Facebook, X, all that. Same thing with Color of Beauty. And then DJ Foots, he's local DJ here in Kansas City, Missouri. He does all types of events. You basically can go to his business page on Facebook, DJ Foots, um, or you can send him some information, DJ Foots at yahoo.com. And then uh, Tez, Tez the Dreadlock Barber is what I call him, but retro, uh, basically, Tez is he's a great barber, man. The dude's been cutting my hair for years. Like I said the last time that I was on here, he's been doing a lot, in the community. Also, coaching kids and things of that nature. He's doing a lot, but that's his thing. He cuts hair, man. Go check him out. He's a Jazzy's barbershop in Grandview, Missouri. He's in the back with the dreadlocks. Tez, look him up. Get you a nice cut. All right. So basically, we got this big game coming up on Sunday, um, and basically, you know, uh, if we win, we clinch the playoff. If they've already clinched, but they're not sitting anybody because they realize the magnitude of this game. You got two great teams going against each other, two teams that are really good this season. Philly's 11-2, Pittsburgh's 10-3. You got two great defenses, two great rushing games. It's going to be. It's going. I think it's going to be a hard hitting, hard nosed game because I think Philly's going to try to bully Pittsburgh, and we already know the Steelers are not having it. So they're going to give it back too because that's what they're used to doing to people. So it's going to be a rough one, And I'm just hoping there's not a lot of bumps and bruises that keep people out of games going forward. Because you do got Baltimore coming up. After this. But we got to handle Philadelphia, and we need to deal with them. And so, basically, I think that even though the defense is hard to win, it's hard to win in Philadelphia. I know it is. It's really hard to win in Philadelphia, and the way they're playing this year, it makes it even tougher. They have a good team. They have the style of football that I love. They like to run the ball like Pittsburgh and bloody your nose and punch you in the mouth, same things we like to do, and it's a physical brand of football. So right now it's going to be who's going to win this tough guy match, and be smarter about it and execute. And the key is no turnovers. We can't have any turnovers. Pittsburgh, and I know Philadelphia doesn't want them, but Pittsburgh can't turn the ball over, and we do a pretty good job of that. Russell only has 3. He's only played what? He's 7-2 since he's been in there because Justin Fields started the season. So no, Russell's 7-1 because we're. So basically, and he's thrown 3 interceptions. That's why when people talk about it last year in Denver, he had 28 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Something like maybe 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. But still, the ratio is great. So, and he's doing the same thing here. He takes care of the football, man. And that's what you need. And what we got to do is force Jalen Hurts, inexperienced as a quarterback as far as being in the league and seeing every defensive scheme. He probably not dealt with Tomlin and Terrell, the DC for Pittsburgh, Terrell Austin. So they're probably going to do some things that he's not used to seeing, And then I know they're going to do it up front, because we got to slow down the running game. We want Jalen to put it up because he's not that accurate of a passer. So we want him to put it up. He has dynamic receivers though. So, but we want him to do that. I'd rather him pass the ball than Saquon run for 200 yards. Let's say that. And then we can't turn the ball over to that defense, man. And Jalen Carter, man, that guy's so athletic as a defensive tackle, you think he's a linebacker, So it's going to be a good one. But I guess what? Even if you look at a lot of the stuff as far as defensive, you look at stats, Philadelphia edges out Pittsburgh and a lot of them, and so people would say, "No, Philadelphia's gonna win." I've been hearing it all week. The national NFL access, first day, everybody, Philadelphia, 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 Philadelphia. few Pittsburgh. So if I pick Pittsburgh, I'm saying you're a homer. Of course, you're a Steeler fan, you know. But guess what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick Pittsburgh. Okay. As far as the score goes, I think it'll be something like 24-20. I'm not sure. I'll never get into numbers like that because it's hard to predict what happens. I think Boswell will hit something late, and we'll get out of here with a win. So, uh, again, I'll do the post game wrap up real quick wrap up right after the game. I'll get it up that evening, Sunday evening. The game's over. We're at what 3:25 kickoff, so we're talking sometime in the evening. I'll get it done. It'll be just a real quick gloss over what took place on Sunday, and then on Tuesday evening, Wednesday morning, I'll put up the actual post game for the Philadelphia game and give a little insight on the Baltimore Ravens, and then we'll do the Ravens pregame later on in the week. So, and then I still got something planned. I want to pull off the 23rd. I've already put that out there, but I'm gonna put it out there again. We're gonna have a podcast where I'll have some football guys in on Zoom or whatever, and we'll just chop it up about their chief. Some of them are chief fans, and one Steeler fan and one football guy, and we'll just chop it up on strategies and what we think on each team will do uh, when we play each other on Christmas Day, the Chiefs. So that'll take place on December 23rd, and that podcast will be. I want to do. I want to do it. I want to do it live, but I don't know if I will. But definitely it's going to take place. So we look forward to that too. So again, um, everybody, good. Thank you for tuning in to my podcast. It's real new. I'm still learning. I'm still figuring it out, figuring everything out as far as speech patterns and things of that nature. But information is pretty accurate, and that's the key. I'm not up here BSing you. So, and you can always fact check. So basically, um, I'll just continue to get better, and I'll continue to grind, and I'll continue to do that. So, Pittsburgh, Steeler fans, Steeler Nation, Midwest, Steeler Nation all over. Um, hey, let's get that win on Sunday, man. All right. Everybody have a good night.